I've always been interested in spacecraft ever since I was a little kid. I found a Facebook page for SunrIde, University of Sheffield, and I'm like, this is interesting.
There's this amazing project going on, and I was like, really? In this uni? And I was like, yeah, let's join them.
3, 2, 1.
Following on from the University of Sheffield's first ever rocket launch at the Spaceport America Cup, an annual rocketry competition in New Mexico, the group of students behind the launch decided to focus on building an even bigger, better rocket for the competition.
Naturally, the next stage was to design a rocket that would compete in the next altitude category.
In the first year, the name was Amy, inspired by the Sheffield alumnus. But the second year, we decided to name it Helen.
The rocket was called Helen after astronaut Helen Sharman, who graduated from the University of Sheffield.
Helen was an upgrade to Amy in every aspect.
It was an amazing, overly engineered rocket.
It was a magnificent piece of art, to be honest.
It's complete carbon fibre. We wanted it to be able to reach 30,000 feet, that was our target.
A more powerful motor, stronger, taller airframe, onboard camera.
We made everything from scratch.
From the morning till the night in the iForge, working on things. It might work, it might not work, a little mistake, we do everything.
After months of hard work building the rocket, the team was ready to fly off to New Mexico. However, in the days before the launch, there were some critical last-minute changes that needed to be made.
There was a lot of things that were going wrong. There were a lot of challenges that we hadn't considered.
We had to cut the rocket with tools that we bought from a local store. The last-minute calculations did not stop ever that night.
But on the final day, where we had it all ready, we knew it was ready, you knew at that moment that thing was going on the launch rail. Within that hour, it was going to get launched. That time between one and the button being pressed, it felt like an eternity, and then all of a sudden saw this thing just dart up, and then you heard this loud sonic boom as it went flying up and through the atmosphere.
I thought it's gonna just explode. The moment they told me it launched, I just jumped off my seat.
After the launch, the students needed to find their rocket in the desert. Despite a hard landing when the second parachute didn't deploy, they managed to find their rocket intact and with some extraordinary data about the launch.
Because it was made of carbon fiber, which performed amazingly, it still made it to the ground safe.
It still hit the ground with under drogue chute, and the only damage we found was actually just scratches all over the stickers.
Barely anything minimal to mention.
We were extremely lucky.
The one thing I remember is it landing, and there's this stratologger on board that it beeps to tell you the altitude. And I remember counting the beeps in the middle of the desert and losing count. And the final time I got it, I was like, 3, 6, and like 36,000 feet? What?
We expected the rocket to reach slightly over 30,000 feet, but we didn't expect it to reach so much higher than that.
It got to that altitude, and then we found out that the oldest record was made by Project Mars 19 years before us breaking it.
The rocket reached 36,274 feet, breaking the previous UK altitude record, which had been held by Project Mars for over 19 years.
It was not certain from the beginning that we'd set a new national altitude record, but it sure was a lovely surprise.
So after 19 years of them holding the record, we came in, broke the record, we got the highest open altitude record in the UK.
With the success of the rocket launch, the Sheffield Space Initiative has planned even more space exploration projects, which our science, engineering and math students can get involved in.
After SunrIde, basically I've now gone on SunrIde 3.
We went for the idea of making a new, better Helen.
SunrIde is now going more collaborative between the two Sheffield universities. Sheffield Hallam University and the University of Sheffield are working hand in hand on this SunrIde project.
We had a very beautiful opportunity to collaborate with the Kingston University on a much larger scale project, making a rocket that can be the first British-made rocket that is going to be hitting the Kármán line. We want this to reach out for more universities and more people who would like to use opportunities like these to put their research and their actual effort as students into manufacturing proper projects.
I'd say all the Sheffield Space Initiative projects are fantastic to get involved in because they give you a really good exposure, wedge that door open into the space industry.
Absolutely go for it. It's a really life-changing project.
Find out how you can get involved with the Sheffield Space Initiative on the website.